It is August 27th, 2019. This is episode 10 of Roostertail Talk. I am your host, David Newton. Wow, 10 episodes. It's really hard to believe that we've already reached 10 episodes for this podcast. I feel like I've only done a few. I'm having so much fun doing it, and I hope you're having fun listening in on our episodes. But I'm really excited for this episode today because the week before Seafair, I went down to the Home Street Bank shop. There was quite a few teams there, but I got the chance to interview Bert Henderson, driver of the Spirit of Detroit racing team. And we talked about hydroplanes, his family, memories, and his history in this wonderful sport of hydroplane racing. I learned more of how involved he is. He's a driver, racer, builder, designer. He fixes boats, repairs boats. I think anything with hydroplanes at any size, he can do it. But most of all, I learned how nice of a guy he is. He's a great ambassador for the sport, which we need. And he's one of those drivers that will go the extra mile for any fan or person involved with the sport. All right, hope you're comfortable. Sit back, relax, and welcome to Roostertail Talk. Well, welcome to Roostertail Talk. I'm sitting here at Hydroplanes Incorporated again, but I'm talking with Bert Henderson. Bert, how are you doing today?
Excellent. I'm in, hydroplane mecca right now. Like being here at the Bud/Home Street shop is pretty incredible.
Yeah. Is this your first time being here at this building?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. So when I came in, Jamie Auld, who's my mentor from a boat builder standpoint, and when I first started racing, driving standpoint, been out here a lot and told me kind of what to expect, but it's pretty impressive.
Yeah, they've done a lot of great things here in this building.
Yep.
A lot of good history, a lot of cool stuff. All right, well, for a lot of the fans out there that don't know much of your background, I know you're big into hydroplane racing. Could you tell us how you got started and kind of the journey you took to going all the way up to the unlimited class?
Well, my parents, as a kid, took me to races like in Picton, Ontario. They had unlimiteds there and of course all the limited classes. And I was just hook, line, and sinker. Grew up around boats. Jamie Auld, who's a huge part of my boat racing career, building and driving wise. Good friends of my parents, and so I just kind of eased in there with Jamie and started with him, and it's just going to the races as a kid was just a dream of mine to be able to get to be part of it. And I hooked up with a guy, Tom Utman, out of Brockville, and crewed with him for a little bit, and then got to build my own boat with Jamie, 2.5 stock, and started my racing career in '96.
Okay. And
won a couple championships in 2.5, and then Patrick Hayworth and I hooked up in 2001 and 5 liter, and Patrick was a big part of influencing me and my driving style in the 5 liter class. And so Patrick and I have been good friends for a long time. So working up into the 5 liter class, and then in 2007 when Valleyfield Regatta wanted to get the Gran-Prix class up and running again, built a couple of those, one for Jimmy Shane and then one for myself. Hooked up with Jeff Richards, who then became a huge part of my driving in Gran-Prix. He and I were partners, and he's been a big part of my getting to this point in my driving and pushing me and whatnot. So it's, and then of course every driver's dream is to make it to unlimiteds, and that's a very, very short list. So to be able to run with guys of the likes, Jimmy and Jimmy King, and you look back just the history of it all.
Oh yeah.
Of the racers that have raced in unlimited, it's just incredible. To be at that level.
Yeah. Well, there's one thing I always think about is the talent pool is always so big, but there's only a few seats available. So you're very. I know you earned that seat. It's not like you won a lottery or anything like that. Mm-hmm. Like you earned your right to be in the unlimited class.
Well, there's some people that got me here, like Pierce Williams, and Bill Osborne. Talk to those guys a lot. I found that when you have the right people behind you, when you have the right people around you, and then you get, because it's a lot of who you know, and your name and your the success you've had has something to do with it, but also the people that get you there, you have to give them credit as well.
Oh, definitely. But I know you've impressed a lot of people this year with your driving talents. I first saw you. I wasn't able to go Eastern Swing, but I saw you driving in Tri-Cities, and there were some things I noticed you did that was pretty impressive. I'm really a big fan of the pre-race shenanigans. It's like the milling period, and I saw a couple of moves you did that was pretty cool. One move I saw in I think the third or fourth round, you're one on the front stretch. There's people ahead of you going, and it looked like you're going to follow them around, but you cut the last second and dart over, get lane one. So
yeah.
Just wanted to say I'm impressed with your driving skills I've seen so far, and I know a lot of other people are. So.
Yeah, thanks. Well, I mean,
yeah.
Having a good radio person is critical too.
Oh,
and
definitely.
Patrick, the one good thing with him is he puts himself in the seat with you. So, I give as much credit due, for the guys that get me there, like with Patrick and being my eyes on the course and, telling me who's around me and doing all of our timing runs. And, we rehearse, we have plan A, plan B, plan C, for situations that come up. So it's it's awesome to have somebody, as a partner, and I consider that a partner.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah,
it's a huge part of your racing program, period. Well, how did you get started with the Spirited Detroit race team and with Dave Bardish?
Back, we were in Waterford, Michigan. Dave approached me, we started talking about, the possibilities of, me going into the Unlimited, and he told me about the U2 and what he wanted to do with it, and we stayed in touch for a couple of years, and then, a couple of years ago, he pulled the plug and said, or not pulled the plug, but he pulled the trigger and was like, well, let's do this. We'll bring the U2 up and, do the changes, and we made the changes to that boat, and then, once he bought the 7, it was always, I was going to be driving whether it was the 2 or the 7, but when the 7 came up, it was a little bit more ready. But, Dave, I got to thank him for, giving me the opportunity to do this, and of course the team. But when we started out with the 2, and obviously with the building part and the modifying, we were able to do a lot there leading up to, learning a whole bunch more about how the Unlimiteds work and whatnot, and the stuff that we did to the 2. And sorry, I got a little bit off track there, but yeah.
That's all right. I could talk about hydroplanes all day.
Me too.
Well, I know last weekend was your first time racing in Tri-Cities. What impressions did you have of the race course, the conditions, setup, the fan base that's over there?
It's incredible. I would, from my perspective, would put that at the level of Valleyfield Regatta, with the fans that are there, the how educated the fans are in boat racing. They know boat racing, and, the course is incredible. The people are incredible. The city is incredible, how much they get behind it. Yeah. And I know what it's like from a promoter standpoint, with my hometown in Brockville, and, they really get behind that race, and, it is awesome. Every race that I've been to this year, Guntersville was my first time, awesome. Madison was incredible. Just everything, and it's just, it's blown me away just how awesome this series is.
Yeah. And,
just the people are awesome. The fan base is awesome. Yeah. I'm just having a blast.
Yeah. There's some diehard fans out there, right?
Ooh, yeah. There are, and I've went down into the area and met a few of the vendors and a few of the people that were partying it up, and they have fun for sure. And what a spot! What a spot!
Yeah, it's a great place for a fan to watch a race.
Yeah.
Great place. Well, talk about Valleyfield. I've never been to a Valleyfield race before, but I've heard so many great things. I really want to go there. Could you tell me a bit more about that race, about the fans, the racing? What is it like to be racing there?
Valleyfield is an incredible place. There's so much history there. They've been, I think this was their 81st year or 82nd year of doing this, and they are so passionate about their fan base. It's such a, they have everything for kids. They have stuff, concerts. in the racing, it's like a bowl.
Okay.
So that they're, fans on both sides, of the backstretch and the front stretch.
Yeah.
There's tens of thousands of people there. It's similar to what Tri-Cities is, where you have it on both sides.
Yeah, yeah.
So, and the fans are similar. It's a big party, with the camping and all of the vendors and all the stuff that goes on there. So, if you've been to Tri-Cities, you expect the same at Valleyfield. Okay. They're just two incredible places.
Yeah, fantastic. Well, I have to make it out there next year to witness this. I just hear nothing but great things. So, you think they're gonna bring an unlimited there anytime soon?
It would be awesome to have an unlimited back there. At least for a demonstration.
Yeah.
I know that things got a little hairy there with when Vilwalk ended up on shore, but it's such a cool venue to be at. They don't have the room, stack unlimiteds, 3-4 wide, but certainly it's an incredible spot to race.
Well, fantastic. Well, you've been around hydroplane racing for a long time. You've been a fan for it for a while. What are some memories that you want to share? Maybe early memories that stuck with you and you kind of cherish about the sport?
As far back as like from me being just a little kid, Brockville has had boat racing going on in every decade since the 1940s.
Yeah.
It's such an important part of, like with the races going on there, but the fact that it's a boating community. We're right in the heart of the Thousand Islands, so that's a big part, of boat racing's been going on in the Thousand Islands area, and the names that have come out of that area are pretty incredible. But back going to Picton with my parents, my first time going to Valleyfield, just Littleton, New Hampshire. There was a good family friend, Cal Jakes, that took me there when I was 12 years old, and I got to go in one of the little Cubs. Mm-hmm. And it's been ingrained in me, to be part of it. And with the race shop, when I went to work with Jamie, like he worked for Bernie for a number of years, and he's really close with Ronnie Brown and whatnot. So it just kind of went into boat racing more as a hobby. Mm-hmm. But then when I started working with Jamie and started getting paid to do it was kind of cool. And then Jamie started, settling back a little bit, and I sort of picked it up. And so now it's just, when I think back to the memories, there's so many memories that I have, even up to today. It's such an important part of my life, my family's little life.
Yeah.
My brothers both race, my son races.
Oh, wow.
So it's a kind of in the Henderson family for sure.
It's a total family thing, right?
Yeah, the part that kind of stinks about it is that, my son, when he races, his first race in a 2.5 stock was in Brockville, our hometown race, and I was in Guntersville.
Oh.
So I missed that, and then,
in
this past weekend he was in Cambridge, Maryland. We were in Tri-Cities, but it's a boat racing family. So Owen works in the shop, and cool. And his first boat race, he was 4 days old. So.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's a family thing for sure,
definitely.
and it goes back for him. It goes back for me. My brothers and all that stuff. So.
Yeah. Well, it's definitely a common theme around the sport. There's a lot of families that do this together. It's a great way to bond with your families and spend kind of a vacation together at the boat races.
It is, and it's like an extended family. And like when they talk about a community raising your kids, and that's what the boat racing community does. And there's always eyes open, and it's not like your kids are wondering what they're doing. You're there, and it's such a great family sport when you're doing stuff together as a family.
Yeah.
You couldn't be more proud of, being able to do that. And with my parents, with it's hard on my mother, with all three of her sons doing it and her grandson, but we're all doing it together, and that's what's so important.
Oh yeah, it is. Yeah, my father's been gone for some time now, but we were big into hydroplanes together, and a lot of my favorite memories are us doing things at the races. So that's fun that you can share that with your family. Yeah,
it is. I mean, it's so cool that that you can actually do that, as a family and enjoy it as a family.
Yeah. Well, I know you got a shop up there in Canada, and you build boats, you design boats, you repair boats. But is that your day job? Is that what you do for a living?
Yep. It's my company's Henderson Hydroplanes, and I officially went into business in the year 2000, but I started with Jamie, back in the early 90s. And but yeah, this is from 2001 when I went to start to do it actually full time, quitting my day job, and started doing this and been doing it ever since. It's even with the recession, we were able to keep things going, and it's a blast. We've got some great guys in the shop. I got a shout out to Ralph Mattice and of course Jamie Auld, and I have a guy in the machine shop, Charlie Comber, that they're a big part of the company. So
cool.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, that's living a dream for a lot of people out there to be able to do what you love for your job and enjoy that every day.
Well, it was, for me, that was a dream as a kid growing up, to be able to own my own race boat shop. And you work hard. It took a lot of time and a lot of effort to get yourself out there. Going to the races, and then fortunately for me, for driving, I was able to collaborate with Jamie and making some changes and doing the things that we wanted to see how it developed into something better. And we've been pretty fortunate that way to be able to get it so that we can develop every year something different. Yeah. And when you can do that into your own stuff and then put it into your production stuff, it's hard to stay on top, and you're always have everybody behind you doing it. And fortunately, for me, it's been a pretty good ride. But for the sport, there's not a lot of people doing it, so it's a lot of work and a lot of dedication, a lot of money. But when you have a passion like that, to be able to do it and call it your day job, it's very cool.
Yeah. Well, you have a kind of a unique spot there. You're a driver, you're a racer, but you're also on the building aspect. So I know a lot of that comes very useful, knowing the boats and all that. You also design a lot of things. So are there things that are on your mind or on the drawing table you want to do and pursue in one of the classes that you build or race that you think right now would be kind of the next step for you? Mm-hmm. It seems, at least in the limiteds, from a fan's perspective, you look at the boats now and you can't see a big jump in the design. I mean, I know there's a lot of things that are going on that are smaller that add up, but visually you can't see them. Like, what's on your mind? What secrets can you share?
We've, with the Gran-Prix in 2010, we completely redesigned the whole thing. New sponsons, which worked out extremely well. And then we put that into the 350 class and 5 liter class. That's worked out extremely well. When we did, with the 350 class, we did everything. The cockpit, center section, cowling molds, sponsor molds, everything was completely redone. In the Gran-Prix, we did, the sponsons. There's a lot of little things that we've changed in the Gran-Prix class. We recently did the 2.5 stock class. There's some more things that I want to do in that, but there's some things that I've got up my sleeve that I really want to try, and I think it would work in the unlimited class too. Yeah. With the wings and canards and whatnot. That you might see in an unlimited, but for sure you're going to see in one of the limited classes, you're going to see some changes in that, some pretty trick stuff. Yeah. And that I think that it's going to work. It's just a matter of making it happen. And the same thing with the turn fins. We've got some things that we've tried that's worked out really well. So it's progression. Yeah. And so keeping the progression going, is important. And then that's what brings the customer base back to you. Yeah. Where you're making changes, and if they want to compete, then they got to step up. Yeah. And so that's the whole point, and not keeping the status quo, but seeing that, okay, well, this guy's doing this and it's working. We're going to have to update or upgrade our stuff. And you put out a good product, and you put out a successful one, then hope that people are going to come and buy some.
Well, if you're beating them, they're going to do something to beat you or get back to you.
Yeah, that was the big thing, in driving. In getting accurate feedback is really hard. And computer systems are really helping in making changes, but getting good, accurate feedback from the driver is a critical thing. And so for when Jamie and I talk, We collaborate a lot. We're collaborating daily, and especially in the shop that, coming up with ideas to try new things. And we'll generally do that on one of our own stuff. Mm-hmm. But, anybody that wants to be a guinea pig, so to speak.
That's good. But the Gran-Prix and the smaller classes, those are good test beds, though, for design changes, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's much easier to do that than just stick something on the limited.
Oh, yeah, it's a lot cheaper that way for sure. But, when you see it consistently from the smaller classes work its way up, there's some smaller intricacies that you have to change. But, the general, what we're doing generally is, as you go up, and it continues to work, and you're seeing it work, that you can integrate it into the unlimited. I'd love to be able to build an unlimited. I mean, we've done some sketches and whatnot, and on doing some, and we've had a couple of inquiries, but money talks.
Money talks. Oh yeah, there's over the years I've seen a lot of great concepts and designs, but never gets that dollar amount. So hopefully we'll get some more business for you, and you can build a couple. That'd be great.
Yeah, well, that's we got some ideas what we're going to do with the 7. So, what we've done to the 2, I think is going to work really well.
Nice.
Hopefully we'll see that out next year.
That'd be great.
And the 7, we've got some things up our sleeves there. So, certainly expect, if Dave does what we're talking about doing, expect some bigger things with the Team Spirit of Detroit next year.
Okay. Well, let's talk more about that. I know Dave, he's got, last time I counted, he has 6 hydroplanes, at least H1 current hydroplanes in the shop. I don't know how many vintage boats he still has.
A lot.
A lot. It's good. I know he has, talked about the 7, which you're currently racing now, the old Trend West U2, which he worked on. He owns a T3 now, as well as the U57, which Mark Evans drove last.
Yeah.
And the U22, which the Websters own.
Yep.
And then he also has, originally was the 1987 Miller American, which I'm sure none of the pieces are on there anymore, but it was the Smoke and Joe's and the last Spirit of Detroit yellow and green one. Yep. So that's 6. Is there another one hiding in there?
Well, he's got the first successful turbine, the Pan Pack, and that boat is intact. Yeah. He's talked about a couple of things with that thing, but I think that's down the list. The 13, I know that one has a special place in his heart. Oh yeah. And but with all the boats, I know that Dave would love to see somebody either lease one of the boats. The Webster's boat's in spectacular condition. It's all but ready to go. Yeah. It needs a gearbox, and like if somebody had a gearbox and Lance Moore's gearbox and an engine, plop it in and away you go. The boat is, the trailer, everything's complete. Okay. The 57 would take a little bit of doing, but with what he's got, and I know that he's put it out there. If anybody wanted to lease something, they could go boat racing for something rather, relatively speaking, inexpensive. Yeah,
compared to starting from scratch or purchasing another equipment, piece of equipment out there. Oh, that's great. Well, that 13 that does have a special place in his heart. His Gold Cup victory came from that. His very first race as an owner. Yeah. My father and I crewed on there for a season. That was a pretty cool deal. Cool. It was a fun year.
Yeah, and the boat. I mean, it's got a lot of potential. It needs some modifying. There's a couple of things that need some attention to it, but I think it would be competitive. Especially, it's not heavy. Yeah. It's just getting the right pieces and components in there and making sure the boat was properly balanced. Right. That I think it would be competitive.
Yeah, take some time and be a front runner. Well, what about the T3? I've heard some interest from Patrick, hoping to drive that one. Is that going to see the water anytime soon?
We're working on it. Unfortunately, for Seattle and Tri-Cities, it won't be there. But that boat is getting close. Yeah. Patrick's very, very keen to wanting to get in the water, and and I know that he's had some fun with the T5. Yeah. It's great having him on board. I'm not sure what's going to happen for next season, whether it's going to be the 7 or the 2 or the 7 and the 10 or what combination we're going to, but all 3 boats I think are going to be the 3 of the priority.
Okay. Well, fantastic. Yeah. Well, I just gotta know what's your favorite part of racing hydroplanes?
The people.
People.
Yep. Like some of my closest friends are boat racers, and you know, when they talk about it being an extended family, it truly is. You know, the fans are incredible. The people are incredible.
Yeah.
You know, like I said, some of my friends are my closest are boat racers. So, you know, and when you see your children, the friendships that they make, you know, it just increases that. You know, so that is my favorite part. That's what keeps me coming back. Of course, there's the competition and the racing part of it, which I love too.
Yeah.
But you know, it's the people, you know, that make it so special.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's another common thread to the whole racing community. I know for myself as a fan going to Tri-Cities, it's another like family reunion because you see friends that you only see once a year. I got friends that come from Canada up in Edmonton that make the drive all the way down there every year. I see them, see friends from Tri-Cities that I don't see normally throughout the year. And yeah, that's a great part of the sport. All right, well, I talked to Jeff Bernard and I talked to Brian Perkins about this. I was thinking it'd be really cool if they had a theme song for all the racers as they enter the course. I don't know if you've ever been to like a Blue Jays game. That's probably the closest baseball team to you.
Yep.
When the batters come out, they play a theme song. Have you had time to think about this? What would your theme song be?
I know exactly what it would be.
What would it be?
It would be "We Will Rock You."
We Will Rock You.
You know that. You know, as long as I've been going to Valleyfield for the Grand-Prix final, it starts out with the "We Will Rock You" song.
Okay. All right.
And we did this when we were in Madison. All of us drivers that did our little lip sync thing to it. I mean, it's such an awesome song. It gets your just heart pumping.
Yeah.
And you know when you know it's like the stomping and the clap and the stomping and the clap. It's just it just makes me just go like I want to go.
Yeah.
I'm ready to go. Yeah, that's my number one.
All right. Well, I got to figure out who I can talk to about this. Maybe get this going for Seafair or something. That'd be pretty cool.
That would be awesome. You know, it would rev the fans up. You know, it just revs you up. It's such an awesome song.
It is.
And then the other thing that I enjoy, you know, when they play "We Will Rock You," at the end, they generally will come on and they'll start "We Are the Champions."
Yeah.
And then in Valleyfield, when they do the trophy presentation for the Grand-Prix, it's "We Are the Champions."
Okay.
So it kind of like sort of part and parcel, you know, when you start the race out with "We Will Rock You," and then you've got your champion at the end of the final.
Yeah.
I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I think that'll kind of rile everyone up.
Yep.
We could hear that. That's really cool.
Yeah.
Man, well, keep talking about Valleyfield. I gotta make it out there next year for this. All right. Well, my friends and I, my wife and I, we always like to play like what if scenarios. Like, what if you win the lottery? What if this happens? So I got to ask a what if question to you. But say Patrick can't be your radio guy for Seafair, and you need a new spotter, and all H1 can give you is the choice between Kevin Hart, Arnold Schwarzenegger, or Gilbert Gottfried. Who would you pick to be on your radio?
Arnold. Because if I screwed up, I'd be terrified. Like, get your butt in gear, buddy. Like, come on.
Yeah, he'd push you, wouldn't he?
Yeah, he would definitely push you. And like, he'd be like, you know what? If I will break you if you don't. Yeah, it would be Arnold all the way.
Yeah. All right. Well, come see for Sunday. We'll see what happens, right? But no, I'm glad you have Patrick as your radio guy. It sounds like you have a really good relationship.
We definitely gel, and you know, like we have a lot of the same qualities in our driving, and I mean, like when we were looking at our data, you know, when Patrick drove versus when I drove, I mean, you would swear to God that it was the same person driving.
Oh wow, okay. Yeah. That is really interesting to look at the data for that and the different drivers. So, well, that's really cool that you're so similar.
Yep.
All right. Well, now that you've had some experiences racing Unlimited, so I believe this is your third year in Unlimiteds, right? Because you had 2 years ago, you're in the Detroit unfortunate accident, which I'm so glad that you were safe with that. I was watching that live, and that was some scary.
Yeah,
that was really scary. But you got the boat rebuilt and fixed, and came back last year, and now you're full season this year. So you've got some time under the Unlimiteds class. But what differences from Grand-Prix racing to Unlimited racing have you noticed?
It's like apples to oranges. You know, that there's the only similarity is that it's a hydroplane with a front wing on it. You know, like the Unlimiteds are so big and they're fast, and you got to drive the boat with the wing. I mean, you know, there's so much going on, you know, with the fuel and the N2 and, you know, driving with the lights, you know, There's a lot. With a Gran-Prix boat, it's like instant power. Okay. We race on such smaller courses.
Yeah.
And you got to drive. You drive the boat with your canard, but you also got to drive it with your foot.
Yeah.
Because there's so much torque and acceleration there. So it's, there's, it's when you get into a Gran-Prix boat from a smaller boat, it's like learning how to drive again. And then when you get into an unlimited, there's so much differences that you're learning how to drive again. Mm-hmm. And like one thing else, Jeff, he was a big part of when I got into unlimited. Jeff Bernard, that he told me a lot, taught me a lot. Mm-hmm. When he did my radios the 2 times in Detroit.
Yeah.
It was pretty cool having Jeff there, and he's a pretty smart driver, and he's a very good driver, and that's where it's associating yourself with good people and people that know what they're doing on the course, and so certainly give Jeff credit where that is. But as far as the differences between the, I couldn't even say that I would prefer, because both are awesome. I love a Gran-Prix boat. I love the power of a Gran-Prix boat. And they're a challenge to drive, and I love an unlimited, and the different challenges of driving an unlimited are, and that's what's so cool about it, are the differences.
Yeah.
And so, when you're still learning, you never stop learning, but I mean, when you're learning so much more,
it
just, I think from your driving perspective and your abilities, it just makes you that much sharper.
Yeah. Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. How hard would it be for you if you raced on the same weekend at a Grand-Prix and an unlimited? Because there's some drivers out there that do that. Jamie Nielsen did that last weekend.
Yeah.
How hard would that be for you to jump back and forth between those seats?
I did that 2 years ago in Detroit.
Oh, did you really?
With the Steeler and the 7.
Uh-huh.
Like literally you got out of one, and then there was a golf cart waiting for you to take you back down to the other pit and to get in the other one. It was exhausting.
Yeah.
When you're, and especially in Detroit, being that Roostertail turn, it's a challenging course. So, and you have to adapt quickly.
Yeah.
When you get out of one and then you get to another, you got to really be sharp.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So it's a challenge then.
Yeah.
All right. Well, before we go and you get back to working on the 7, is there any other things you want the fans to know, or about yourself, or about your life or racing career?
Well, I'm a family man. Love my family. Love my family, and then love my wife. Like everybody that's to be without that, it's not worth it.
Yeah.
And then the other thing are the fans and the people. The volunteers for the race sites, the people that put on the events, without them, we wouldn't be here. And so, I just so appreciate everything that everybody does to make this sport what it is. And, and I want people to know that, if you see me, don't be afraid to come up and say hi or, whatever. I mean, that's what I'm here for. And if I look like I'm busy, well, chances are I'm probably not too busy unless I'm driving.
Yeah.
So, because the crew, they do such a great job that, my part of my job on the team is, talking to the fans and talking to the people and, helping any way that I can. So, yeah.
Well, I know the fans appreciate drivers that are like that, and they're very upfront and available to the fans to talk to. So,
without the fans, we wouldn't be here.
Yeah, you might be one of the new popular drivers in the series now.
Well, like I said, you see me, come say hi, and that's what I'm here for.
All right. Well, really excited to see you racing at Seafair. This will be your first time in Seattle on Lake Washington, correct?
Woo. Looking forward to it.
Yeah.
Pumped.
All right. So hopefully we'll see Bonito Holmes on the podium. You made some good podium finishes in the first 2 races. I was hoping we'd get that 3rd place last weekend, but
Jeff pushed me out into Booney land.
I think we might see a better finish in Seattle for you.
Yeah, we're working hard there this week, and doing some changes to the boat that we hope is going to work out. So we'll be ready.
All right, fantastic.
Cool.
All right, well, thank you, Bert. Appreciate
it. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yep, thank you. I hope you enjoyed our 10th episode and the interview with Bert Henderson. I had a lot of fun talking with him, being down at the Home Street shop, and just learning more about his rich history in the sport. I think a lot of the West Coast fans, West Coast hydroplane racers, we don't get to learn as much about the rich history that's in the other side of the States, other side of Canada. And I'm looking forward to learning more about Gran-Prix, the wonderful organization they have over there, and racing in Valleyfield and around the United States. But I also look forward to checking in with him this winter. I hope to contact him, see what's going on in his shop, see what projects he's doing, and what we can look forward to seeing next year. Make sure you check back next week, as our episode will be released Tuesday, September 3rd at 5 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Also, don't forget to hit that subscribe button on your podcast player, as well as rate and review your experience. For more updates and Hydro news, check us out on social media. We're on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Roostertail Talk is now online as well with our website, www.roostertailtalk.com. On the website, you can sign up for an email subscription list to get notifications on upcoming episodes, Hydro news, podcast updates, and much more. Finally, this is a free podcast to all of our listeners, but if you're really enjoying Roostertail Talk and want to help us to continue to grow and expand, please donate. You can find the link to donate through PayPal on our website under the Support tab. So until next time, I hope to see you at the races.